This is Bills Camp Day Recap. I'm Thad Brown along with Caleb Carr here at new Highmark Stadium. First event ever in this building. A whole lot of fun, except for the 15 minutes or so when it poured. And it was a downpour, right?
I mean, I was inside the concourse the whole time,
Okay.
so I was nice and dry.
You were smart.
I was
You were
dry
smart.
this whole time.
For the fans who had to brave it, some of them got pretty darn wet, but a fun night for sure. Let's start with just first impressions. I mean, you know, you're a Bills fan. You grew up a Bills fan at least. This has been a long time coming for a lot of Bills fans. Just give me your take on being here.
It's honestly hard to put into words. There was multiple times where I was down on the field just waiting for the players to come out of the tunnel, where I was just looking around. I'm like, holy crap! Like this is insane. I think my initial reaction is just it's huge. Like it truly is ginormous. But when you're walking around, it's so open. Like everything's so open. I checked out all the concourse levels and everything was great. Everything just, you could see everything from everywhere. It's insane, but it really is ginormous.
People have talked about being able to see the game from everywhere. I don't know does that really matter? I mean, if I'm going to the concourse, I want to go get something to eat. I want to pay attention to the game,
Yes.
but being able to see the field doesn't feel like a priority with me.
I don't know if it's as much of being able to see the field as it is just being open. I mean, talk about a house, an open concept. It's not because you can see the kitchen from the living room. It's just because it feels more spacious. It feels more
I hear you there.
more
Okay, I got
airy,
you.
if
I
that
got
makes
you.
sense.
I got you.
Maybe that's a better way to put it.
I thought for a lot of tonight that I was at a road game because
Yes.
it's a new stadium.
It just felt different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's also new too.
Yep.
For so many years, almost all the places you went to were newer than what the Bills played in. So when you go to a nice new facility, it's always on the road. And that's what this felt like. I don't think I was overly blown away. I mean, I've been here before, and that's the main reason why. But it was well done. The fans loved it, top to bottom. And I think Bills fans, Bills Mafia, will be satisfied, feels like not a good enough word. I know some of them will be super excited. I talked to one member of Bills Mafia who was crying. But this is done right.
Yes.
You know, this is done the way that I think the organization wanted it done. I think, like I said, most fans will be happy. And one of the things I did during the day was, I went to watch the gates being open for the first time, which was kind of cool, seeing the fans come in for the first time. But where I was, gate 5, there's a landing where people can kind of walk out and see the expanse of the stadium for the first time. So I wanted to just get the reactions of Bills Mafia, not just talking to them, but kind of seeing the wow and the stuff, the looks on their faces. And that's one of the most fun pieces I put together today.
Wow, just wow, it's amazing. Wow, 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 beautiful.
Awe-inspiring. It's what the first thing that comes to mind.
This is amazing. So much better in person than what I've seen on videos.
It's freaking awesome.
Why?
It's just beautiful. There's just so much to take in. It's crazy.
Everything's brand new and just futuristic.
It's a cool new stadium. Really like it.
This stadium is absolutely incredible. You know, they gave us the experience last year. You know, we've been paying for these for 2 years. Unreal. I cried. I literally cried. It's incredible.
As soon as I walked in, I'm 100% bought in. This is amazing. I love the color coordinated seats. I love how easy it is to tap in your ticket. I love the intimacy of it all. It's awesome. It's amazing.
So that little landing, Caleb, was pretty jammed for the duration of the first hour of the stadium being open. It's one of the cool little things that have become a part of the stadium. There are many details that I think people will be impressed by, and having literally you walk in, you scan your ticket, you go about 50 yards, and you can see everything.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. And like I said, there were phones and kids and all kinds of people who were there most of the time.
Yeah, you said it was crowded at the beginning. I mean, it was crowded throughout practice because I got a chance to go up towards the end of practice, and I walked around and I talked to some people. It was crowded throughout that thing, but I got to talk to some people after they had a chance to really soak everything
Digest
in.
a little bit.
Yeah, digest everything, and I mean, they were still just as excited.
It's real nostalgic coming back here, seeing where the old stadium was, and then seeing the stadium is now knocked down. Then coming into this, it's just like a mecca, and it really gets you excited for the season.
The stadium is beautiful. It looks like a monument. Man, just walking in and seeing all of this is so much better than the last stadium. I can already tell we're going to have a great year.
This is phenomenal. The openness of the stadium, walking around, being able to stop wherever, have a beer, have a drink. watch on like the plays that are happening and then also go back to your seat after. It's pretty sick.
It's definitely different than the old one. A lot newer, a lot fresher, like a rebirth for Buffalo. So I think it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It's amazing. It looks like we're going to be warm. We have all the state-of-the-art architecture, and it looks great.
I mean, the stadium's huge for one. It feels like a cathedral. And it's also really easy to get around. Like, there's lots of space in the concourses. You're not like crammed in. It's not dark and gloomy like the old stadium.
Unbelievable. Like, compared to the old stadium, like we're season ticket holders since 2011, seeing this is just, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they were super excited. I mean, I was excited just watching them be excited, but everyone seems to love the stadium so far. There were no negative words whatsoever. It seems like everybody that was in the stands today had an incredible experience, even with the rain.
Got a lot of the happy stuff for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the other cool things, we talked about little details that matter with this stadium. And one of the things that I like a lot, and I tell people this all the time, people will say, like, what stadium you like the best? I always will bring up the Cowboys Stadium because there are small things there that are just perfect. Like the Cowboys in the elevators, the buttons are blue stars. Like that's just a little thing where you're like, yeah, okay, that's exactly how it should be. And here the Bills have, it's not quite as nuanced, I think, but still interesting is that they have sculptures and artwork in the concourse in particular that really matter to Western New York.
Yeah, and they're spaced out like perfectly. As you're walking around the main concourse, it's just, there's one every so often. They've got the Peace Bridge, they've got the Broken Table, which I know a lot of people have seen on social media, but then they have other stuff like a little like camper truck that's like Wegmans sponsored, that's got all Buffalo Bills decked out. They had a couple other, they had a beam that all the workers signed.
Very
that
cool.
was very, very cool. They just had a lot of really cool like little stuff throughout the concourse that just makes you think like this is Buffalo. This is the Bills.
As for the main attraction when it comes to sculptures, that would be outside with the Bisons. And I gotta say, not as big as I thought they would be. You know, and I don't know if people are gonna be happy, unhappy. They're cool. And one of my favorite sculptures around the league, when you talk about other stadiums I've been to, the Falcons have something similar. They have a giant kind of metallic looking silvery falcon. Look it up on Google, everybody. You can see what I'm talking about. That's not too dissimilar than what the Buffalo looked like. And I don't think it's much bigger, but because it's an angry falcon, it seems cooler. The Bison statues they're fine, they're big, and I think when they're lit up at night, they could look pretty cool.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
But I was not overly impressed. I mean, they're cool, like job done, check mark, but next to the box if you want. But again, not something that I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Yep. It was my first time seeing them in person. I thought they were pretty cool. I mean, I agree that they probably could have been bigger, but I think once they get lit up at night, once we get that like Thursday night, Monday night shot that they show of the stadium and the Bisons and the steam coming out and it all blue and red, that's when I think it's going to really, really be worth it. But you talked about the fans loving it. The fans loved it. I had a chance to talk to them before practice today, before the gates were open. They were all flocking to it, and they really seemed to enjoy it.
They're a lot bigger than I thought. They, videos online don't do justice. Being right next to them, they're huge.
I love the metallic energy of the Buffalo. Gives it like a futuristic, moving forward kind of vibe.
A lot bigger in person than what I expected, and I can't wait to see him with the lights on. The steam coming out of him too, the Wall of Fame, it gets me pumped for this season.
It's awesome to see. It's fitting of this team. It's what we deserve as a city, going through the drought.
They looked cool, and I like how they have the Bills logos and the tiny bowl. I thought they were just going to be like tiny statues.
We had the good fortune of running into these guys, on their trip up here. They got stuck on the roadside along the way, and we saw them there. And look cool. In front of here, though, they're home, and they look like they're ready to roar, ready to... What does the Buffalo do? Come on. That's right. Makes me want to shout.
Fans were out there for a couple hours before practice began, taking pictures, lining up. Billy the Buffalo made an appearance, and then you also have the Wall of Fame or the Hall of Fame.
I don't know if it's got a name yet.
Yeah, what's it called?
It's called Family Circle for now.
Okay.
So it used to be the Wall of Fame, but it's not on a wall anymore, so I don't know what they're going to call it. But it's got all the numbers.
Yes.
You can find Jim Kelly and Joe Ferguson, Joe DeLemler, all those guys.
And that was really cool. They had all the numbers. They had little snippets about all the players, so you could just kind of walk in the circle around the Buffalo. I think, although I do think the Buffalo the Bisons could be bigger, I think it's set up perfectly.
I don't know if they could be bigger. I mean, I remember when they were telling us about how the Bisons were created, one of the ideas was they didn't want the Bisons in terms of where they were located relative to the stadium to be too big, because the creators talked about how like they wanted an eye line to be like perfect between, okay, this is the right size in comparison to the stadium as far away as it is. I mean, some people wanted them to be bigger, and again, you're not going to walk past them and be like, oh my goodness, this is like the most amazing
But
thing
they
ever.
fit.
They
But
fit.
it fits.
Yeah. Well, the critters think they fit, and
Yes.
I have no artistic license to say otherwise. I mean, I'm not, an engineer or anything. I'm just saying when you walk up to me, you're like, okay, Bison, that's not bad. One of the things I thought that was cool though was they have an employee there who takes pictures.
They did today,
as
yes.
people. I don't know if it's going to be every day,
I'm
but today I
I'm
thought
not
that was
sure,
very
but
cool.
Yeah, there was a very long line. And when we first got out there pretty early, there were maybe a line was forming. I was out there for an hour talking to people. By the time I left, that line was like all the way almost to the street. Like it was a lot of people were waiting, but it was cool. They kept it moving. They got a couple pictures, and then you got to go to the side and take some pictures of your own. But it was really cool, and people really seemed to be enjoying themselves.
So as for the players on the field, let's talk about that a little bit. Josh Allen did his thing, as always, going around the stadium, playing catch with some young fans. We'll get to the jerseys in a minute, but I do want to get to the player reaction to the stadium. As you might imagine, they liked it also. A lot of guys talked about getting here very early. And the star of the show after practice today was Christian Benford. You got to hear how he described every single step of his day as he came into new Highmark Stadium for the first time.
I walked in, it was like fans lined up. I had my headphones in. I'm on TikTok, you know what I mean? Then I'm scrolling. I just look up. I'm like, oh, wow.
We got here a little early just to walk around and see the facility. It was my first time today seeing everything. So it was crazy. It's a beautiful stadium, beautiful facilities. I know all the guys really appreciate having this here.
I go in. I said, where am I going? XYZ pointed. I see stuff in the stadium. I'm like, dang, like inside. I'm like, okay, this is nice.
It's amazing. First time opening the stadium for everybody. Even the people in the 400s was going crazy. So I'm loving it here, and this stadium's gonna be rocking.
I walk around, go to lunch. Nice. Say, okay, this is caliber. This is nice.
Wow. I mean, I was just saying, I got here like 4 hours early. I was just walking around on the field, taking myself on a little tour around everything, just kind of looking at all the details and just taking it in, because it still doesn't feel real yet.
I said, where the locker room at? Man, I go in that locker room, phone went out quick. You know, like the dads watching their kids play, you like this. That's how it was. So it was epic to see this firsthand.
Okay, we had to go outside because there was a security issue. Day one at the stadium, not everything was working. Look, to be honest, the Bills kind of let us know that, and one of the reasons they're having the return of the blue and red in the stadium, preseason games in the stadium, is so that these things can get fixed for the regular season. But we had to leave because security wasn't going to stay late enough for us to be still in the stadium. So here we are outside the stadium, but still bringing you all of our thoughts on the new building, including those from the players. Christian Benford was just awesome.
Yeah.
As Christian Benford has become, he's really become one of the guys that we talk to a lot about many things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about anything left over from the stadium. And I'll give you one that I thought of. How the stadium blocks the wind was an important deal both to the team and to the players too. This was supposed to be a stadium that won't be nearly as windy as the other building was. It was ridiculous over there. Now today, it was a little breezy outside, and it was definitely a little less breezy inside. And the funny thing was when I got in, I was thinking, well, wait a minute, if there's gonna be no wind in here, and it's like 84 and humid because it's about to rain, this is gonna be pretty uncomfortable. Because I will tell you, SoFi has no breeze at all, and it is one of the worst places to be in when it's 85. Now it's Los Angeles. That place pretty much exists at 72 degrees all the time. Buffalo is not that, but there was enough of a breeze to make it comfortable, but not so much of a breeze where I'm thinking, oh, that wind stuff you guys talked about, that didn't work. So I think the Bills did a nice job kind of threading the needle on that.
Yeah, I think today, there wasn't much. You could feel it a little bit. I think when you're really going to be able to tell the difference is when it's 20 degrees and gusting and you're outside and you're like, oh, this is terrible. And then you step inside and we'll see how it goes. If it's a lot less, then that's going to be a good thing.
It did occur to me that like this is going to be a temporary problem in Buffalo to where I want more wind.
Oh, yeah.
But this was one of those days, and next week will be that, and a couple weeks after that with the last preseason game as well. Anything left over from the stadium? Things, small things, big things, things that you noticed, things that you maybe want to notice next time you're here?
I think I kind of like the fact that it rained today because it kind of showed you how the stadium handles other elements. They talked a lot about like the covers and the snow and all of this. The rain, unless you were in the concourse, you still pretty much got wet. So I think a lot of fans were. I think there were some fans worried about those like overhangs, like, oh, it's not going to be the same without the snow. You're still going to get the snow. It doesn't matter where you sit, you're still going to get the snow. So I don't think anybody should be too worried about that.
All right, the other thing we got to talk about is that the Nickel City uniforms got debuted in person for the first time. The two kickers, Tommy Doman and punter and kicker, and Tyler Bass wore them, and the quarterbacks wore them. Now, Josh Allen putting the helmet on was the absolute lock bet of the year. There was, especially after the way he kind of played up the uniforms at Fisher, he was going to roll out here with a new helmet. I didn't realize they'd go full uniform, and it gave us a chance to see them in person. I remember we talked about the uniform and said, well, they look bad on a screen, but they'll look better in person, right?
We said that.
They look worse in person.
You think so?
They
Worse?
were, yes.
You think worse?
Oh, yes. Like, now I don't know if they were.
Well, I think this might be where we differ.
Okay. I don't know if they were terrible in person, but yeah, they were, because like the gray jersey in a picture to me was, it's a gray jersey. It's not spectacular fun, but it's fine.
Yeah.
In person, it looked boring, pajama-y, somewhere in there. I didn't like it. And the helmet, as bad as we thought it looked in a picture, I thought it looked worse in person. Someone compared it to the Valvoline logo, which I think has some legs there. But overall, yeah, like whatever it was, when I saw it on social media, I definitely thought this was worse.
I don't think my mind has changed on the jerseys itself. I think same thing. I just thought they looked boring. There wasn't much to them. They came out today, and I still thought they looked boring. I don't think my mind changed at all. I still don't like the helmets, but I like them more now that I've seen them in person. That doesn't mean I like them. I still would rather have anything but them, but I don't hate them as much as I did. Maybe it's just because Josh Allen was wearing it. I don't know. It could be. But
you did get the closest up view of it because you were following Josh around when he did the playing catch for the fans thing, and I only saw it from the sideline. So is there something better when you get within 3 feet of it?
Maybe that's what it was.
Keep in mind that no one
else is going to be 3 feet.
No one watching or listening to this is
well
ever going to be that close. But for you, what did you think?
I think when I was up close, when he was kind of standing, there was also a couple times where he came over to the sideline. He was interacting with some fans. I think that up close, it looked okay. I will say, though, that when you watch it on TV, not sure how it's going to. I don't think it's going to look good on TV.
So I watched a lot of the practice on TV because once it started to rain, actually the media workroom has a giant screen, which is fantastic. So I watched most of the practice from where I would not get wet. And on TV, it didn't look good either. There's nothing about this uniform is redeeming right now, except for apparently, according to Picoelli and the sales team, how much money they're making off it, which at the end of the day is all that matters.
I will say I saw quite a few fans wearing the nickel jerseys. I talked to a couple that were at the Bisons, and they all love it. I mean, a lot of them were like, they were comparing it to the Bison. They were like, oh, it's the same color. I was like, that might be a stretch.
Right.
We might be stretching a little bit, but from
the Bison statues, you mean?
Yes, the Bison statues. The fans kind of seem to really be liking them, though, so far. Like, I saw a lot wearing them today.
If the Bills win that first game against the Chargers, then it'll be a whole different attitude. All right, let's talk about this practice for a little bit. Number one, injuries were a thing, and it's funny because the Bills get out of Fisher and we're almost totally injury-free, and the talk is, Joe Brady, sports science, he's figured it out. And then today, Ty Johnson and Connor McGovern both go down with things that did not look like they weren't carted off, so it doesn't look season-ending, but neither guy looked particularly close to healthy either. We don't know what the fallout's going to be. I mean, they both might show up to practice on Monday and be fine. But let's play the game of both are going to miss some significant time. Of the two, and I think this is an easy answer, but I'll throw it to you anyway, which one do you think is more destructive to what the Bills want to do this year?
Connor McGovern.
For sure.
It's Connor McGovern. I mean, you already have an offensive line that's broken up a little bit. Now, granted, just one single spot, and it's Alec Anderson. Alec Anderson's like the best case scenario for we have to replace somebody, and he's been in the system for a while.
So he would become the center, what were you saying?
Well, no, I'm saying that well, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that, yeah.
I guess I don't know.
What road were you going down? And then we'll go down the
I was going to go down the road that you're already making a change at left guard. And Grant, what I was trying to say was Alec Anderson isn't a huge change because he's been in the system, but you're already making a change starter-wise, and now you have to make another change starter-wise at center potentially for week 1 if McGovern's out for a while. That's where I was going. But you make a solid point that Anderson could move over, but then still someone now needs to fill in that left guard spot.
Well, I would see this is what I would do, especially now. One practice is not the end all be all, but Lloyd Cushenberry and Cedric Van Pran Granger were not super good.
No.
Just from the point of view of the snaps rapport. Both of them had issues with shotgun snaps. Josh Allen had a fumbled snap too. I didn't see what center was in for that one. To be fair, like we said, it was pretty wet by that point in the practice, so that may have been a factor. But neither guy inspired any sort of confidence. And even if I didn't watch a single second of practice today, my call would still be Alec Anderson at center, where he's played before. Now, he has not been very good either. Remember, he came in to play center for a couple minutes in the Denver game, and he botched the snap as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of the options look particularly great right now, but Anderson at center and Austin Corbett, who I feel decent about at left guard, that would be my choice 1A if McGovern's going to miss serious time.
And I will say for any of the centers, I mean, it's hard to just throw him out there. Alec Anderson, you just throw him out there in Denver. The two guys backups today, you throw him out there today. It's hard to just throw him out there without working much. These guys haven't worked much with Allen. Allen has mainly worked with McGovern. So you would think this is early enough in the offseason. If McGovern is going to miss some time, you would think they have a few weeks before that week 1 game. They can build some rapport, they can work it out, and it should be fine for week 1 no matter who's in there.
Real quick, the Ty Johnson injury is not nothing, though.
No, it isn't.
He is their third down back. He's their best blocking back. You've got Ray Davis, who's going to be on kickoff return, so he's already kind of got his attention divided a little bit.
Yep.
James Cook can play on third down as a receiver, but you don't want him blocking. So it's not, certainly not in the Connor McGovern range, but it would be kind of an annoying, like, man, I really wish we had Ty Johnson around if he's going to miss some time.
Ty Johnson is one of those guys that you sometimes don't notice until he's not there. And that is a compliment. That is a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that if he's out, that you would naturally Ray Davis would have to take more of a running back role and less of a special teams role, which wouldn't be detrimental, but I do think he's a weapon in the special teams game, so that would hurt.
And while Ray Davis is good between the tackles and a good blocker, I don't think he's quite the receiver that Ty Johnson is.
No.
He's good with the ball in his hands in space, but in terms of running routes and actually acting like a receiver, Ty Johnson is the best of the 3 running backs, including James Cook.
Yes.
As for the practice, the thing that stood out on the positive side, the deep ball. Josh Allen had it working.
Yeah, he had multiple shots down the field. DJ Moore was a big one that, of course, the Buffalo Bills posted on their social media, so I'm sure everyone has seen it at this point. But Khalil Shakir had a really good one at the end. I know I didn't see the Dalton Kincaid one, but you said that Kincaid had one. I did see the Shakir one, though, and it was a rip right down the middle. Great ball. Shakir made a good catch in the end zone. So he was letting it fly today, but I also know that there were a couple passes that weren't so great.
Yeah, had an interception, one that was deflected that came off of Josh Palmer's hands. DeMar Hamlin had it. Another one that Christian Benford intercepted, but there was some debate about whether or not that would have been pass interference on the defensive back. But there were 2 other. He had back-to-back throws later on in practice. One which was right to D. Alford, and the one before that, Keontae Jenkins probably should have intercepted. So an up and down Josh Allen day, no one really is concerned about that, although we have seen a few more of those, I think, at camp so far than you would normally expect. But it wasn't all good. And again, the interception stuff, the Benford play I liked if it wasn't illegal. The other interceptions were not defensive backs making good plays. It was kind of balls in bad spots or guys not making catches.
And that could also just be a guy trying new things out. You know, you've got a new head coach. Joe Brady might be pushing you in a new direction, and you might just be going out there to try out some new stuff.
Speaking of defensive backs making good plays, Davison Igbinosun had a nice day. He had one on, go through my notes here real quick. He had a win on Keon Coleman early in practice where Keon just wasn't open. The Palmer play that led to the Hamlin interception, Igbinosun was in on that. Max Harrison didn't practice today, still nursing something that we don't know. So Igbinosun got a chance. And the rookie has not been super good during camp, but an up day in front of all the fans, obviously it's going to help a little bit.
Yeah, he's shown enough flashes. I mean, both today and throughout camp, he's shown enough flashes that makes us feel like there is something there. Whether or not we want that on the field for week 1 starting, probably not yet. But, you know, I'm not too concerned about Max's injury, so to have him sitting off to the side and to give Igbinosun those reps, it's only going to help him grow.
Tyler Bass kicked field goals today and made all of them, which is a good sign.
Maybe it's the helmet.
Maybe. I don't know if we want to have Tyler Bass having to wear that helmet all the time, but maybe. I only saw one that I thought was beyond 45. I was inside, so it was hard to tell exactly what yard line he was on. I will say that all of them were no doubters. I mean, they were right down the middle. We're not flirting with the rough at all. That was middle of the fairway kind of stuff. So,
and this was after the rain, correct?
It's a good
Or was
question.
it before or after the rain? I was up in the concourse for a
Yeah,
lot of the
I think it was
practice.
before the rain. I think it was
Okay.
just before the rain.
Still good. I would
Yeah.
have liked to see some with the rain, though.
Yeah. Guys talked a lot about loving the grass, which was not a
Yes.
surprise. Everyone had a lot of compliments to say about the grass. I did stand on it. It felt like grass. You know, like I don't know what.
I don't know what I expected you to say right there, but it wasn't that.
The outside the stadium or outside the field of play is
Yes.
turf because they don't
Yes,
want
it
to
is.
have to worry about the areas where the guys stand all the time having to keep resodding that. So I'm standing on the turf and I take one step to the grass expecting, oh, I don't know, there's gonna be like a trampoline or something, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like my yard. Okay, I mean, it just wasn't that big a deal.
It's grass. Breaking news.
It's grass.
It's grass.
Yeah, right. I think Dawson Knox said it was like a putting green. I wouldn't say that. It was nice though. And there were, like, Michael Hoyt did the whole, yeah, this is why, you know, FIFA makes their players play on grass, and I don't know why the NFL can't. So there, you know, you'll get a number of that. But the players were happy to have a grass field for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that players all across the league have been pushing for a while. I'm surprised at this point that all NFL stadiums haven't gone grass. But the Bills took an opportunity, brand new stadium, make the players happy, and I think it's going to pay dividends.
I did note, by the way, that DJ Moore, who spoke to the media very briefly, he enjoyed the first practice, but he did say, like, of all the days in the world, why is it raining today? And my first thought was, dude, it rained every day at Fisher, man.
Literally
like,
every day.
This is par for the course for you
Yeah.
guys this year. Beyond that, I did note that the stadium had a new car smell, right? Some of the hallways.
You did say that in one of the elevators. You did say that.
It
and
almost
it does.
It almost felt like the joke that had to be said, but it really did like have like that new, maybe not the new car smell, but the new building smell a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, that is going to do it for this edition of Bills Camp Day Recap. The Bills are back on the practice field on Monday. They're going to go Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday this week up in Orchard Park. We will continue to do Bills Camp Day recaps every single day the Bills have practices. We will be less populated in Buffalo because let me tell you, getting up in Rochester to drive to Buffalo for an 8 a.m. press conference, that will be very not fun. But we will have somebody there, and we will have Bills Camp Day recap every single day the Bills are practicing all the way leading up to their first preseason game against the Panthers on Saturday. Remember, you can always find this podcast on YouTube and on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Please feel free, if you are up for it, to subscribe, because if you hit the subscribe button, then whenever the podcasts come out, you get a notification. You don't got to find it yourself. I know for me on YouTube, I can just search out whatever I want anyway. But I guess it's more convenient if you subscribe, so feel free to subscribe for us.
You're supposed to convince them to subscribe, not come up with reasons why they don't have
I'm
to.
going to trust the people at home to do what the right thing is.
Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying. He's not good at this content stuff yet, guys.
I'm okay at the content stuff. I'm less okay at the demanding subscribing thing. We're working towards that. Okay. For Caleb Carr and Thad Brown, thanks very much for watching and listening. We will see you again on Monday.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 on demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.